28 years later, The Bone Temple was almost exactly what I needed it to be. Let's do your hype and spoiler-free review. What's up, cretins? What's up, creeps? My name is Chris. I am the only person talking horror on the internet. Picking up where 28 years later left off, The Bone Temple follows its characters into the next chapter of their post-apocalyptic saga. Characters intersect, there's your movie. Alright, let's bring this up and discuss. I have admittedly not been a fan of Nia DaCosta's work. Not opposed to it either, just don't count myself as a fan. I've only seen her two bigger films. I thought Candyman was fine. It's not bad, but it's not anything near the hype that people were giving it. Nor was it the film that we deserved given the build to it. That's why we haven't gotten a sequel despite it being left open at the end and been 5 years since that movie came out. The Marvels, conversely, probably not as deserving of the hate that it got, but it's by no means a good movie. This changed my mind about her as she presents a competent, consistently engaging character study with The Bone Temple. Very well made. 12 out of 15. Ralph Fiennes showcases a quiet desperation in one of his strongest roles. And that's a hell of a thing to say about somebody who's been a consistently great actor that still takes chances 30 years into his career. Jack O'Connell builds out another memorable horror character as the leader of the Jimmies. Those are the parkour douche fucks that showed up at the end of the last movie. He properly follows what he accomplished with last year's Sinners, and the rest of the cast at least shows up, if not shines. This is very much an actor's film. The cast leaves absolutely nothing to be desired, giving it a perfect 15 out of 15. The screenplay is really what I wished that the first film would have been. It has better and stronger exploration of this world and its inhabitants, and it justifies a lot of the things that I did not like about 28 years later. I think there are dialogue excerpts that actors could potentially read for auditions to show their depth. It's that good. On the downside, and yes, there is a downside, you kind of need 28 years later to make The Bone Temple work. I don't have a problem with things being episodic, but choices should be made when doing so to make each entry work both as a standalone feature and as a beat to the overall story. The Bone Temple is only a beat to the story. It's too reliant on you seeing the prior entry. 9 out of 15. Bone Temple has its scares for sure, but I don't know that that's really the focus. There's more scenes that are harrowing, and there are more scenes that are gross. Rest assured, you'll feel plenty of horror going through it, as DaCosta is in total control, but I don't know that outwardly scaring you was her objective. 5 out of 10. The aesthetics were on spot. This feels and looks the way that I wanted 28 years later to feel and look, abandoning the washed out monotone feel for something that's alive and lush amongst the dead and decay. The licensed music is a perk as well, and it'll have you adding Iron Maiden and Duran Duran to your playlists when you get home. 9 out of 10. As mentioned, I don't feel that The Bone Temple is as much of a story as it is a beat to the story. It's more entertaining because it's the filling to the sandwich, and you can have a good sandwich on bad bread. But if you look at it conversely, Bone Temple almost negates 28 years' existence. What they accomplished in that movie could have been delivered in maybe a 10-minute prologue. Plus, there's a couple of things that felt kinda out of left field. Like halfway through the movie, we suddenly start discussing religion, which becomes an overarching theme for the remainder of the movie. Not bad, just kinda had me wondering where things came from at times. 6 out of 10. Kills are an interestingly tough call. If you look at the ones that are in the movie at a very base level, there is some fucking brutality to this movie. Those scenes are not for the squeamish. So much so that I was left either slack-jawed or wincing on more than one occasion. But there's also kind of an undertone to them being obligatory. Like DaCosta knows that you're showing up expecting them to happen, so let's get them out of the way and go over the top to satisfy you so that we can get back to the story that she wants to tell. it is something that I felt and will affect its score. I'll go 8 out of 10. It is hard to be original as the second beat to a 3-part story and the 4th entry overall. But this is a standout entry with the most memorable scenes and sequences since the original. 3 out of 5. Rewatchability, I actually really want to see it again in theaters. It wasn't huge on 28 Years Later, but this was good enough to make me want to go back and watch it again, because now I want to watch that back-to-back with the Bone Temple. Shame on theaters for not trying to offer a whole bloody affair type situation for this. Enjoyability, I already told you I was engaged from start to finish. Even when things made less sense than they should have, its stronger points had me just saying, okay, I'll buy into it, whatever. Your mom may not enjoy it as much as she enjoyed 28 Years Later, as there are far fewer dicks in this movie, but she should still be okay because there are still dicks nonetheless. 4 out of 5. So overall, these points add up to a possible 100, and when I chainsaw this off, your Massa score for the Bone Temple is 75 out of 100. It's currently my second favorite horror movie out of the 4 that I've watched this year. I know that's not a lot, so let me stress, I will be buying it. I do think that you should try to catch it in theaters. It is deserving of your immediate attention. Kindred Spirits, Day of the Dead, Eden Lake, 28 Years Later. That's all I got for you, cretins. That's gonna do it for today, creeps. Do all these things. Let me know if you saw 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and what you thought of it right over here. As always, this is all just a matter of opinion. See it yourself, make your own decisions, remain critical, support horror.